Hello everyone, Jolene here from Bookworm Adventure Girl. Welcome to another Tag Tuesday. I hope that you are all doing well. This is where I talk about the books that I am reading. I like to read diverse books and I highlight Canadian literature. If you are new, thanks so much for checking out my channel. Please hit subscribe and stick around. Today I am going to be talking about the hot topic of how I rate my books. And I'm going to do that by doing the How Do We Rate Our Books tag. The original tag was created by Emily from Novel Novels. I was tagged by Alice at Alice and the Giant Bookshelf. Both of these women have great channels. I will leave links to both of their channels and to their tag videos below. So if you haven't already, please go and check them out. I think you'll really enjoy their channels. So there are 9 prompts all about rating books. So let's get started. The first prompt is, how often do you DNF and what makes you DNF? So this is the big DNF question. I am not a big DNFer. I am more of a set-asider-er, which means that for me, sometimes I can just set aside a book, sometimes for a decade, sometimes more. I find that because I'm a mood reader, if I'm not in the right mood for a book, then I might not enjoy a book, when other times I totally would. So, for example, I grabbed this, The Kitchen House by Kathleen Grissom. This was a book club read several years ago, and I started it. I wasn't really liking it, it wasn't grabbing my attention, and I didn't finish it in time for our book club gathering. I still went to the book club. Other people talked about it, and I thought, I might have to give this a try another time because I thought it deserved another chance. So fast forward a month or so later, and I loved this book. I devoured this book, and I gave it 5 stars. So if I hadn't given it another chance and read it when I was in the mood for it, then it would have been an entirely different experience. So I always give books the benefit of the doubt, and I hope to read them in their entirety when I can, because then I can judge them in their entirety, because I have had, because books I have not been enjoying have also surprised me in the end. So, number 2 is, do you rate books 1 star? So very rarely, but yes. I think on Goodreads I have like 6 books that I've rated 1 star. The one that I remember that I would still give 1 star to is a book that I've talked about before, and that is Quantum by Patricia Cornwell. This book was way too sciencey for me. I didn't care about the characters. I didn't care about the story. I just did not care for this book. There was no surprise in the end that redeemed it for me. And it's the book I think of when I think of books I enjoyed the least. Okay, what is a 2-star book to you? So a 2-star book for me is it was okay book. I read it, but I can't really say that I enjoyed it. I probably wouldn't recommend it to anyone in general, but only very specifically to someone who might fit the book better than I did. My most recent 2-star book I talked about in my August wrap-up, and that was Watching You Without Me by Lynn Cody. Yeah, 2 stars for me. Okay, number 4. Is a 3-star book a good book for you? Yeah, 3-star books are good books for me. These are good. It means I'm glad I read it. I would recommend it to some people. But the book didn't grab me or immerse me, A book that I rated 3 stars that I know people were surprised by is What Strange Paradise by Omar El-Akkad. This book won the Giller Prize a couple of years ago now, and I was very happy that it won. It's about an important topic. The approach and the writing, it was all very interesting. But for some reason, this book didn't wow me the way I know that it did wow so many others. This is also a book that I think I would get more out of, maybe in a second reading, and maybe it would wow me then. I don't know. Number 5 is, what does a 4-star mean to you? So a 4-star book means I really enjoyed it. I rate a lot of books 4 stars, and these are excellent books, but for whatever reason aren't quite a 5-star. These are books that I would recommend to most people. I would potentially still gush about these books. My last 4-star books were Bad Cree by Jessica Johns, and I also rated Jazz by Toni Morrison 4 stars. And these are both great books. So I'm so glad I read them, and I would definitely recommend them. Do you ever give half-star ratings? So for this, I'm going to say yes and no. On Storygraph, I like that you can give, they give you way more options. And I like to use those options when I'm rating my books there. Goodreads doesn't allow you to do that. And here's my thing about this. If you turn the ratings into percentages, then with only 5 stars and not halves, you can only give a book 20, 40, 60, or 100%. And sometimes a book is a 50 or 70 or 75 or 90% book. So those half stars and 3/4 stars, I think, really help with that. As I said before, I do rate a lot of books 4 stars. And within those 4 stars, there are books that I like better than others. And there needs to be a way of kind of distinguishing between them, I think. Number 7, do you rate books 5 stars often? What do 5-star books do to make them rate that high? So I don't know if I would say often. Sometimes I have several 5-star books in a row or in a month. Other months, I might have 1 or 2, even none. It really all depends on the books. The second part of this question, what do 5-star books do to make them rate that high? They have to make me feel something or make me think about things in a new way. So there are also books that I have given 4 stars, and after some time I have changed it to a 5-star because it continued to affect me. I would say that a 5-star read for me, it's more about evoking a feeling. So number 8, has your rating of books changed over the years? I'm not sure. If it has, it hasn't been intentional. I've always rated my books really according to the 5-star rating. So I think that it has pretty much stayed the same. So how I rate books is the same, but I have, like I said, changed ratings of books. Usually that's to go higher. So for example, I loved The Dutch House by Ann Patchett. For some reason, I gave it 4 stars when I first finished it. But I adored this book, and I couldn't get the characters and the story out of my head. And I started really appreciating the book on several levels that I eventually went in and I changed it to a 5-star read. So in that way, some of my ratings have changed. I don't know, does that make sense? I hope so. I hope that all is sort of clear. The final prompt is number 9. Where do you record your ratings of your books? So the main place for me is Goodreads. It's the most up-to-date. I have started using Storygraph because I like the way they do their stats, and I like that I can give half-star ratings. I don't keep that as up-to-date, and I go a long time in between updating it. But my books eventually do get there too. So that is the How Do We Rate Our Books tag. Thanks again to Emily for creating this tag. There's some great questions here, and thank you to Alice who tagged me. I am going to tag a few people as well. I am going to tag, I think Charlie from Charlie Brooke Reads. I don't know if you've already done this. I'm hoping not. I'm going to tag Charlotte Malloy, and I'm going to tag Michael from Michael Romeo Talks Books. If you are up to doing this tag, I would love to hear your answers on these. If you are watching and you want to tell me how you rate your books, I'd love to hear about it. Please comment below. Do you give half stars? What do you think of that? Has your rating system changed over time? Or have you, like me, changed a rating of a book? I would love to hear all about it, and I look forward to chatting with you in the comments. As always, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and don't forget to make every day an adventure. you.